A dramatic standoff in the Inland Empire today. Hundreds of protesters blocked the street leading to a Border Patrol station, refusing to let buses full of undocumented women and children. They were flown from southern Texas to San Diego this morning. They quickly boarded 3 buses and headed for Murrieta, where agents there were going to process them.
Buses carrying migrants from overcrowded facilities on the Texas border turned around today after encountering protesters at a Border Patrol processing center in Murrieta.
U.S. authorities are trying to deal with tens of thousands of immigrants who have flooded across the U.S. border with Mexico since October. But the move to Murrieta has residents there on edge.
But the buses had to turn around and head back south to San Ysidro. KCAL 9 Inland Empire reporter Tom Wade has been following the story all day. He joins us live from Murrieta now. Tom.
And Susie, some very tense moments earlier today, and protesters are still out here in some impressive numbers. Take a live look. On one side of the street that you're looking at right now, those are supporters of the undocumented immigrants. Those numbers have been growing all day. And then you see police there kind of barricading them there, kind of forming a perimeter. Across the street, what you have are protesters who are against the undocumented immigrants not being deported. They believe they should be sent back to their home countries right away.
And a group of protesters blocked buses carrying undocumented immigrants as they made their way to a U.S. Customs and Border Protection facility in Riverside County, California.
100 undocumented migrant children and their parents were flown from Texas to Southern California today in the latest chapter of what has become an overwhelming border crisis in this country.
About 140 migrants, mostly families and children, were met by dozens of protesters who waved flags and signs denouncing illegal immigration. The migrants were diverted to the Border Patrol facility in Chula Vista.
At this hour, 140 undocumented immigrants from Central America have been diverted from this facility. They were supposed to be processed and released here, but the buses they were on have been turned around.
Earlier today, this area was the scene of a dramatic standoff. Bitterly divided, protesters on both sides of the immigration issue hold the line outside the Murrieta Border Patrol facility this evening.
This was the scene earlier today at Lindbergh Field in San Diego. One by one, many mothers carrying their babies were flanked by Border Patrol officers as they boarded buses for the 1-hour drive to Murrieta. Here they were greeted by angry protesters, furious, they say, by what they call refugees being bused into their small city. They blocked streets, waved flags, and squared off with immigration advocates as tempers flared. 3 buses arrived in Murrieta with a first group of an estimated 140 families who were flown in from McAllen after entering the country illegally. Some local residents carried signs and American flags as they blocked the road. The buses finally had to turn around and headed to an undisclosed location.
Now, according to the latest ABC News Washington Post poll, nearly 6 in 10 Americans support a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants.
To block buses carrying dozens of undocumented immigrants, including children, who are arriving in the town of Murrieta today for processing.
Murrieta city leaders oppose the transfers, saying it's a burden on their town and raises safety concerns. Authorities say the move is designed to ease overcrowding at border facilities strained by that recent influx of unaccompanied children. Congressman Filemon Vela and Ruben Hinojosa are inviting President Obama to visit the border in South Texas to see the impacts of the immigration crisis firsthand.
Earlier, things got tense as the bus carrying undocumented immigrants arrived. Protesters blocked the road.
Please just start backing up, please. Please back.
Frustrations almost reached a boiling point.
They need to eat, they need to shower, they need to clean bed to sleep in. This is ridiculous.
Perry and other top Republicans say the situation has increased the potential for drug and human trafficking as border agents deal instead with the flood of children.
Those high threat areas right now, and as I testified, the center of gravity is the Rio Grande Valley. That's where it's a transshipment center for the nation right now. As it relates to drugs, so when I say drugs, it's heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, and marijuana, and human smuggling and trafficking. Because human trafficking is going on as well, not just smuggling.
More than 52,000 unaccompanied children have been apprehended entering the United States illegally since October.
Deport!
Immigration officials say if the immigrants pass criminal checks, they will be released on their own recognizance and told to report to a local immigration agent wherever they end up.
How many people are going to, in effect, self-deport themselves, go to an ICE office and say, yeah, here I am, I'm supposed to come and report myself? Close to zero.
Police stood between buses and protesters as the vehicles turned around, headed back on a freeway towards San Diego. This was expected to be the first of several waves of undocumented immigrants coming to this facility. Instead, tonight, they are at a facility near the Mexico border in San Ysidro.
But thousands more do make it across. In fact, more than 52,000 unaccompanied children have been caught crossing the border since October. It's a huge surge of immigrants, flooding U.S. facilities that are now at capacity.